Igorots. So
Some of us we're prepping our show. Please stand by. We're prepping our show. Just please stand by. We do every Friday, Friday Reds. So be patient with us, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Hello, hello. Gee, what happened there? All right. Let's see, what do we got? We're at quarter till. It's Friday Reds. It's Friday Reds. Oh, we got a few more minutes to go. What to do? 30 minutes, in 15, in 45 minutes. All right, all right. better. All right. Copyrighted 2023, e.Celi, all rights reserved. Today is September 8th. September 8th. What do you think of that, folks? It's been 1 month since the wildfire at Lahaina. And see, what should we talk about today? Today is Friday Reds, and bring this a little closer. Oops, sorry. Yeah, maybe that's better. Yeah, that's better right there. Ba-dum. We won't start our show until 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We got 10 more minutes. Just wanted to say hello. Hopefully people will join. There was one, but I don't know what happened to that. Sometimes we have some weird stuff going on with the Facebook Live, but this is Facebook. Those two are Instagram, and that's how I'm gonna do for now. It's a Facebook live stream and 2 Instagram. One has a fire because it's Friday Reds, and one has the stars. Chief Kunuch has the stars, and email has the fire. Friday Reds, tongues of fire, Acts 2. As of tongues of fire. Okay, that's the Pentecostal tongues of fire. So where are we? We got so much stuff to do. Too much stuff to do. Talk about. What are we gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about past, present, and future. But before that, we have to do our first in, last out. Philo. We log in to the virtual Garden of Eden. It's not a wig, it's my real hair. It's not a costume, it's a real hair. I just put it down. I usually tie it top knot, but it's my real hair. I just cut the sides, but I keep my hair long. In fact, for those people that don't know, there is a law to protect people with different hairstyles, cultural hairstyle, traditional hair, just the way how your hair looks. There's a law now that protects people with long hair or short hair or whatever hair afro or whatever the hair that comes out of their head. That's their right and freedom. But there are too many discrimination, too many people that harass people with strange hair, and it's not really good. Not really good for anybody to poke fun at people's hair. Stand by here. I'm gonna. All right, we're back to Chief Coconuts over there with the stars. Email over there with the fire. Tongues of fire on this side. Tongues of fire. Stars. And Facebook Live. And we have 3 more minutes to begin the Philo. And that's what we're getting ready. Okay. It's gonna be doing some improv. Again, copyrighted 2023, September 8th, e.Celi, all rights reserved. All right. So this is my natural hair, and here's my natural hat. Okay, we are, 1 more minute. So we're, what we do first is we log in the virtual, what we call the Secret Garden of Eden. And in order to do that, our first in is the Lord's Prayer. According to the New Testament of the Holy Bible, okay, here we go. Copyrighted 2023, e.Celi, all rights reserved. September 8th, e.Celi reserved. Again, this is Friday Reds. It's a weekly show, and we talk about the past, present, and future. And we begin with the first in, call it the Philo. First in, and then the low is the last out. Whatever was first in will be the last out, and we sing the Lord's Prayer. Hey Samantha, welcome back. Sorry about that. Come in. This Friday Reds, copyrighted 2023, September 8th, e.Celi, all rights reserved. First in is the Lord's Prayer to log in the virtual Garden of Eden. Our Father, who art in heaven, holy, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom and the power and the glory are yours now forever. Amen. All right, so that's our login to the secret Garden of Eden. It's our first opening of our show every FRIDAYREDS. We make it as much informative from the stories of the past, present, and future. So the immediate past, this week I was able to watch a movie called Hey, what's up, Dano? Welcome, Dano. We were able to watch The Equalizer with Denzel Washington. It's a pretty good movie. I highly recommend it. No spoilers, no nothing. But it's the location set is on Italy. And a friend of mine, Van, is over there right now in Italy enjoying his life. Anyways, it's Friday today, but yeah, last Tuesday I do my work in writing and critiquing new movies Tuesdays. There's a discount locally here. When I was in LA, I was able to actually see the screening and meet the actual actors when I watch movies like The Equalizer, because that's what they do first in LA is before they release it on the theaters, or even if it's released, they have what you call an actors workshop, or SAG Foundation allows actors to talk to actors, and that's what I did when I was in LA. You know, that's the beauty of being in Los Angeles, where Tinseltown is. You're able to interact with other Tinseltowners, and every time they make or finish a movie, they do a release process, and they have for the actors who have the Screen Actors Guild Foundation.org that permits us to interact with the actual actors in that movie. So, but talking about this week's movie, Denzel Washington did a great job in his performance, like as always. Equalizer 3. So if you've seen 1, 2, then this third one is great. Anyways, Monday elderly mom. It was Labor Day weekend. Um, my sister brought back my elderly mom. She's with me right now. Um, so I'm gonna make dinner to her for her after I finish this little Friday Reds show. I'm hoping to invite Dan Valuran on next Friday. If Dan's interested, maybe we can just have like a little conversation on this, talk about the passing of one of the great guitar legends here in Modesto, Kid Guitar. But like any artist, especially your own local town, your own local family, they don't give you as much love and support, and they sometimes 86 you. Because I've been 86 now with two restaurants, bars. I don't know why. Because maybe they think I'm flirting or interested in sleeping with them or something. But all I can say is, if they don't like you, they won't help you. They won't promote you. And rest in peace, Kid Guitar, Mr. Miranda. You know, you were the first genuine guitar player that I met. I was a security officer at Walmart on McHenry, and it was like a rainy winter night, and I saw Kid Guitar pushing this cart with his guitar on the cart, and he was coming towards the entrance of Walmart. And I being a security outdoors and observing and reporting all the property on the Walmart parking lot and all the different stores around that whole block. I said, sir, what are you doing? Wow, you're a very interesting man. You're a guitar player. So am I. Play guitar too, but I play slack key, open tuning. How about you? Oh, I just do the standard EADGBE, Western tuning. Oh, okay. Have you heard of slack key? And I told him. He goes, well, he said, no. Well, would you like to learn? I said, yeah. I just all you do is just change one of the tunes of the string, and you're officially a slacker. But he was able, during rainy period, he was out in the front of the entrance of Walmart, and he was, jamming in there. And the inside security of Walmart let him do that. His name was Fred. So, and this was towards grave shift, because during that time, Walmart was a 24-hour store in McHenry. But because of all these people just take items out of Walmart, they just shoplift whatever they want. A lot of homeless people, they just take what they want, or even non-homeless people. Just at that time, I was like way out where Fuddruckers was, or by the McHenry Road. I heard, sirens in, what do you call it, that someone took television sets, those flat screen TV at the back door of Walmart. Oh my God. Very interesting situation. But late night, you see all these, strange people, and that was my first impression of rest in peace, Kid Guitar. And so I was interested in that, and I just moved from LA because I came here to take care of my back. I moved back here from LA. I'm originally from here, but I moved back here. I spent like from 2002 to 2014. But anyways, I saw this guy, and I said, man, yeah, in LA, there's a bunch of guitar players. There's like open mics of all just guitar players. There's no comedians or anything. It was just guitar players at the Bliss, at the Rainbow, at, Sunset Strip. There were many open mics with a lot of guitar players in LA. And I said, yeah, I wonder if there's like formal guitar groups here. And I asked Mr. Kid Guitar, and he said, yeah, but I enjoy playing out here. And so out in the rain, he said, well, yeah, I guess he gets tips or something. But I said, hey man, I'm gonna do something about it. So while I was doing while I was working grave shift at what do you call it? That was 2014. I was in my mind, but I connected with a friend, Stephen Jones. His brother would be also be in front of Walmart greeting people. He was kind of like a Down syndrome guy. His name was John, and he had a brother named Stephen Jones. But John would always tell me, "Yeah, my brother's from L.A. He's retired from driving the metro bus, and he pursued acting in L.A. and he what do you call it? And then I got to meet Stephen Jones, and we talked about there is a karaoke hangout called the Moggies, and he said, "Hey, why don't we just go to singing over there?" At the time, the Secret Garden was called Ridgeways, and that's where I started hanging out Ridgeways. And shortly enough, by 2016, I met Micah and Sarah, with Stephen Jones, and that's how I started meeting other people that would go to Queen Bean. And Sarah would always say, Queen Bean, you should go to Queen Bean." And eventually, I went to the Queen Bean. I didn't see a kid guitar there, but I saw Dan Valiant at the Queen Bean. That was my first time to meet Dan Valiant. And Micah was always pumping up and talking about Dan Valiant. And then when I saw Dan, I was impressed. I was impressed. This guy had showmanship. And that's when I met Dan Valiant around 2016, late and early 2017. Um, that's when we started hanging out at Ridgeways. Every like after Queen Bean, we go to Ridgeways, and that was like my normal Sunday routine while I did the work. But unfortunately, 14, 15, economy, 2016, they shut down hours at work as security officers. They just reduced it to less than 25 hours. It really screwed up my benefits that I already originally had in LA with an organization called United Protection Services. And I said, this is messed up. It has to be political. They have all these corporations, batting against Obama, and now they had Trump in 2017. And I was just like, man, they just messed up everything for all the 40 hours a week security officers. And it was already like $4 loss coming from LA to working to Modesto. $4 down. And then I said, oh shit, I gotta do something else. So I did something else. By 2018, October 1st, 2017, our buddy Stephen Jones had a major heart attack. That's what I heard. I didn't know about it until the following, night, and I spoke to Fred and Muggsy, because Muggsy, I already met Muggsy too during Stephen Jones. When we first met around 2014-15, we have to mention Coach Muggsy. He's a football coach at MJC, and we were good buddies. Stephen Jones, Michael Cortell, Muggsy, and Fred Hill, and myself. We'd go to Ridgeways. But 2017, October, the man passed away. And we were just talking about, music videos. He will be playing like a kingpin Modesto gangster, bald head, tough guy, like Al Capone like, but a kingpin like character in Spider Man. Anyways, I don't know, he just passed. And I try to ask I try to ask the gang, hey, next the following week was October 7th, I believe. The following Sunday was Ridgeway's after Queen Bean. Queen Bean it was like every Sunday, and after Queen Bean we'd go karaoke at Ridgeway's, and there we meet up, and we all agree. Chad would be there. There's another guy, Chad McDonald. So they were best friends with. They were all best friends with Stephen Jones first before I joined the karaoke scene with them. But I was always already singing, with the KJ there at the time was Clovis King. So past is past, and but suddenly we lost Stephen Jones on October 1st, and during that time too, Micah and Sarah were having some kind of relationship issues then, and they have relationship issues now. But I love all my friends, people that I meet. They become friends for life, best friends forever for me. And no matter how much they avoid me or ignore me or unfriend me or just not listen, not what do you call it? I've met them. I know who. I've learned a little bit of their character, how their voice sounds from karaoke or open mic. They, to me, they're good people, and I always, you know. But I know out there are some people that talk and backstab. It's cliquish high school stuff, but it it also happens in our adult life, especially the karaoke family. I love all the karaoke family, but I just now 2023. I just summarize everybody. There's this one gal, Ellie Love, and now when she got married to well, anyways, I don't want to talk about that, but I'm talking about when Stephen Jones died. I I was just like everybody was shocked, and so we got we'll get together the following Sunday, and we did, and we got that picture taken. But how does that relate to recent death of Kid Guitar? Well, Kid Guitar, off and on, I would go offline from karaoke and open mics and follow up on Kid Guitar, where he's at, where his progress, what's he's doing, what's happening. Has he finished an album or got his band together? He wanted some few bikini girls to play the bass, and it was a good visual. I would produce a band like that too, but the man had dreams, and but then I learned more about him. There was another guy that Dale Huff had a band member who was a Hispanic dude. He passed away also, but him and Kid Guitar went to the same high school. They had you know the story is that after high school, Kid Guitar moved to LA and pursued the Tinseltown music scene. That's what I think that's the story. And then when he came back, you know the town didn't the bars I think didn't give him well, maybe I don't know all the details, but this little Modesto town, it's not a big town, so you pretty much know talent when they're out there performing out on the sidewalk, and they're like there's another black gal that passed last year and or early this year. She was also a great vocalist, but there's so much talent in Modesto, but the problem is there's no what you call guys like me that architect a way to build an ecosystem to bridge everybody to become a factory like Ford, Henry Ford's assembly line. Right now, well, well, I tried during 2017-18. I tried to rally all these guys. I told Micah, and hey, listen, dude, illustrate me a comic book. Here's an example. I gave him the skeleton script. I was hoping he would do it, but he didn't do it. He didn't listen. They're not. Nobody's listening. Nobody listens here. Everybody's on their own. Every man's for himself. At least 2017, 2000. I go to open mics. I tell them, hey, like Pew Exerd when Josh Rosenblum was. That's when I started meeting all these other guys at Pew Expert open mic. When Josh Rosenblum was the host, I said, look, I'm just trying to do a documentary to gather the guitar players because there's a lot of guitar players in Modesto, and we need to get together like the bodybuilders, but the guitar players. And but there is no like nobody's listening, nobody's interested, and they shit talk me when like I CT told me, oh, you still want that list, like the Social Security, the team. I said, dude, that's part of producing. You need information like that. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not gonna scam you guys, but they don't believe me. So that's how it is with people in Modesto. That if you don't, like any stranger in town, if they don't know who you are, they're not gonna trust you. But they've seen me sing. They've seen me in karaoke, sing karaoke. They've seen my thing. I've shared my albums. I have aliases of my own. Like any artist, you have pseudonyms. You have alter names. That's how albums are. You don't give your straight personal real name. You have to give like right now. I wear a cowboy hat with the long hair. You know, email Stanley. David Stanley was the stepbrother of Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley had a stepbrother named David Stanley. I'm not Elvis. I'm just saying I'm email Stanley today. Stan. I have two Facebook. Before my Stanislaus account was over 5,000. People were requesting, so I had to. I have another account. Email, right? Email E.Celi Stanley. It was less than 5,000. But unfortunately now it's dropped a lot of because I've been posting as a Mexican now, and a Mexican American USA Emiliano Zapata. I just create those characters and trying to entertain people on Instagram like the way I am right now. I I don't give out my personal information online, but I'm in character. I'm telling the story of past. And this guy, Kid Guitar, that's his alias. Yeah, his name is Kid Guitar, but his real name is not Kid Guitar. But people just don't get it. You know, we are artists, we are storytellers, we tell things, and we have to be in character depending on the story. And Kid Guitar is a guitar player. That's why he calls himself Kid Guitar. Even though he's an old man, when 2018, he turned 62 when I last saw him, June 2018. I had a tip from Rodney Cordova. I was like at the Blue Bayou karaoke on 13th Street. I know that area is not a good location for some reason, because Chefs of New York today is not really doing well, or hasn't since COVID. But 2018 June, Rodney Cordova, a fellow karaoke family, I think he's one of the board members of the State Theater. He said he's over there at the last stop, gas station. He's over there. You should go. He's there like in the evenings and the time to go. So that's when I finally found him, and that was one of the clips. I have other clips of him, me and him, but he sold me at that time. I bought a $5 his album, but when I got home, it was a blank CD. Apparently, he packed he packaged the CD without burning the CD, and that was a fly. And when I went back to look for him, he wasn't there no more, or he wasn't around, because he took my tip that I told him, once you're 62, take the early retirement, because you may have money in your Social Security when you work during your high school years or after your high school. And so he did, but I didn't see him since then. Every time I go back there, every time I go to Oakdale, when I drive through McKendrell, we what do you call it? I don't see him there no more. Towards Escalon. I think, wow, he's probably moved. He probably got some benefits from his Social Security, whatever, because his early retirement, 62. Because I pushed that, I told him about it, because I know my sibling, my older brother, he's already retired, and well, he wasn't retired. We were looking into the best options, but Stephen Jones was. He was retired, and unfortunately, October 1st, 2017, he didn't get to spend his retirement money. What's the use of working all your life and you suddenly choke? You suddenly get a heart attack when you're who gets all your benefits? His brother John and his sister. But when I talked to Muggsy, they said, yeah, John's in the Bay Area now. He's back to with his sister. So, because John is a Down syndrome person, and somebody needs to take care of him. And Stephen Jones was taking care of his brother that way. But Muggsy, he's a cool friend, and he's there for you. Whenever you need anything, he's there. He'll give you help, support, and but he'll tell other people who you are, what you've been doing. Yeah, I mean, he trusts me, man. Muggsy, when I did one shot of one scene, I mean, like editing the video, this American Pharaoh season 1, no problem cooperating from the man. We shot a scene at Yosemite Lane. We shot a scene, me and him. He signed everything. He gave me his address, his social security. He gave me everything. No buts and ifs. He trusted me, and he was on. And he's still my business partner for season 1 American Pharaohs, because he trusted me. You know, I like keep telling people I'm a union member. I can't mess with this, screwing around. I'm trying to tell my story, my people's story. Our indigenous story from Alta California, Philippines, Mexico. I need every help I can. But when Sarah and Micah and Micah was, I told Micah, you have a gifted hand. You can illustrate. You can be like my distant cousin that illustrated the Jedi Council of the prequel of Star Wars. If you want to look at the IMDb credit, his name is Ed Natividad. He trained me. He taught me how to storyboard and how to concept art. His process. This was the time when he was in at the ranch at ILM. He brought me there, my cousin. But people don't. I told Micah, you do listen to me. Listen to me. You have a gifted hand. You can be like my cousin. You and him. I mean, you have the capability. I told him. But what happens? It's like when I tell these guys, hey, dude, I'm trying to tell a story and I need your help. You have a certain talent. This particular talent, it doesn't mean you give up your guitar talent. Guitar is guitar. But right now, at the beginning of my storytelling, I told Micah, your gift as an illustrator or concept of, whatever design you'd make, just like his recent painting that he posted, that he finally finished. That's called concept art. You make a concept location, and then set builders, based on your concept drawing, they build that set in the studio. That's how it works in the filmmaking industry. You need artists, and Micah has that gift. But he doesn't listen to me. He didn't listen to me. He doesn't listen. I still need illustration on a comic book, The Cane Woman. I am still waiting for Micah. Now, when I last saw Sarah, Sarah's been painting. He was illustrating. She's good too. She's better than Micah. They're both good. And they're both my art department here. If we ever get this American Pharaohs going, if they don't want to be in front of the camera, they could be like Stanley. I met him in person too, Stanley. But people don't believe me. But we talk about the past and my journey from Hollywood back here at home here in Modesto, taking care of accompanying my elderly mom, who always wanted to go to bingo every night. I take her to bingo during that time because that's all she has left. Her last years in retirement, bingo. But my friend Stephen Jones died before my mom. I was just like shocked. But these friends of mine that I meet, because they're good karaoke singer, they can, Micah can illustrate. Sarah could be in a music video as a leading lady. Like I told her, you kind of like resemble Prince, what's his name's wife, Merkel, and kind of like Zoe Kravitz, like kind of like, or what's her name, Whitney Houston. I mean, she has that profile that she looks. I've seen her pictures on on her Facebook. She does a lot of modeling, or a photographer takes up a lot. Or I go, why not be in Micah's music video or my music video? And so I put together a little storyboard to show him how it's done. But when I asked Micah to help me with the comic book, nothing. I had to redraw. I mean, I've done some a long time ago, but I'm just trying to tell my story as Luzon, India, Luzon and Alta California, Philippines, Mexico, New Spain Empire, as the Indians that were basically raided by the Mexican Empire and placed the captives in a category of servants or laborers, and white uniform and the Mexican hat, basically peasants, like the character Emiliano Zapata. Anyways, back to I call them the mules. Yeah, when COVID hit, it was hard to gather people, but Mr. Muggsy was very cooperative. So I did my own season one. I shot my own locations during COVID. I had so Muggsy's the only one that's legit in season one, American Pharaohs. And so I have a lot of these clips, footage from different locations of Modesto. Due to COVID, I didn't want to deal with other COVID process. I just, basically shot locations and green screen. So season one was kind of iffy, but American Pharaohs is still it's still registered with the SAG-AFTRA union. And so the next season two, will be the actual season one, because COVID was really tough to do season one. But the story is already set up for season one. Season two is more to bring in Dan Valiran and the guitar playing, and maybe reenactment of what we did in 2017, 2018, 2019. And basically, like, we went bowling, we with the open mic peeps, we played pool right across P. Wexford. Those are like some reenactment scenes. And then, of course, present, moving forward, I've asked Dan Valiant, the great friends. I always play that video, because I wasn't here when he did that Great Friends video. But when I saw him perform it live, I was like, wow, yeah, that's That's a good song. It just needs to get packaged right, and I wanted to do that, but Dan's moved on. Right, Dan? You moved on to a new album. You're working on this new songs. I haven't finished listening to that, but I know that all I need is one song from you. That's it. That we can put together, even expand as an episode of the American Pharaohs Graffiti Season 1B. We'll just call it S1B instead of Season 1. What do you call it? I gotta talk to the but in the meantime, my biggest problem is casting, because a lot of karaoke people like Kevin and Chantel and Kevin and Sheila, and oh, we're gonna be there. I'm gonna go be there. Oh, this girl named Debbie says, yeah, I bring all the equipment to set up, right at the parking lot of Orangeburg. Debbie didn't show up. It's time setting up the camera, the lighting, and that location. And if you don't show up, you waste everybody's time. So, and that's only like 2 or 3 people. It's not really a full crew. Imagine if it was a full crew, and the person that's supposed to be in front of the camera doesn't show up. Everybody backs out and go home, and that's how it is in Hollywood. You have to have like standbys and backup, and make sure the person will show up. Otherwise, you as a producer set or rent all these equipment and gear and bring your crew, and then when actually filming it, the talent doesn't show up. You're screwed. So it's always how you treat the talent, and how the talent and the foreground or principal performers and backgrounds, how well they're fed. Don't pay them yet, just feed them good. My non AMTP, non studio way is, it's an independent, it's SAG indie, and the only way to get paid is when the finished product gets sold and actually people are buying it. So, but I've been observing. Well, this is present, but I was talking about the past, about rest in peace, Kid Guitar. I just saw something that Chris Murphy and some other guy, they said they were going to put together a statue for Kid Guitar. I don't know if you've heard that. And again, for those of you that are watching this Friday Reds, we have a local guitar player that recently died here, but they recognize him, but the businesses and whatever, they don't give they didn't promote him, they didn't hire him in like a little solo guitar. A lot of the guitar players that are only favored get hired. Favored meaning, well, I don't know, talented also, but to me, Kid Guitar is talented, but maybe they just didn't like his background, because he went to LA, and very talented, smart kid. That's what I heard from Dale Huff's former bandmate that passed away. Oh, so yeah, there's just paranormal stuff going on in Modesto, because karaoke family people, there were people that are dying, and then of course the COVID. So it was very, October 1st. So October 7th, when we gathered together in honor and memory of Stephen Jones, my left eye, something happened to my left eye. Maybe it's something. It was just like touched by a spirit. It was probably Stephen Jones' ghost. This happened over there at Ridgeways. It's now called the Secret Garden of Eden, or the Secret Garden. And so I still go there Sundays, every Sunday, make an effort. If I don't go there, at least, I tell everyone that I'm working on these stories, my indigenous stories, Alta California, Philippines, Mexico, the Indians that are still here. their spirit are still here. The Yokuts Nation. I don't know. Some people are afraid of Ghostbusters. Oh yeah, Chad, Ghostbusters. Yeah, the reason why I was motivated also was just after Stephen Jones passed and found out that Chad himself is a Ghostbuster. He loves the movie Afterlife. Oh, anyways, I can only tell a story. I've been shaping this American Pharaohs to be more ghost, all the conflict or all the anything violent or whatever will be in the ghost realm, spiritual realm. But the guitar players should just like be a reenactment of way back when we first met, Queen Bean, and reenactments in karaoke, reenactments in other open mics, and of course recent open mic places. I know tonight, what's her name, Melinda Rodriguez has an open mic in Turlock, so I will eventually go there. But my priority is my elderly mom, and I got to work my way back to continue my projects in LA. Imagine I've been absent there for almost 10 years already. But I interact with people I met over there in LA, like actor Zahn McLaren, actress Delana Studi, actress Crystal Lightning. I have several nephews now in Los Angeles. Several nephews. A couple are from here, and a couple are born and raised there in Los Angeles. And if I don't tell my story, and if I don't succeed in architecting this made in Modesto, Stanley wood or Modesto wood, or I will have to come back here in Modesto. But I'm relying on these four critical guys that I met here: Micah Van Zandt, guys and girls, Micah Van Zandt, Sarah Wanty, Dan Valiorant, and Chad McDonald. And then of course I met Alex Vela, who else? And recently the owners of 1870 Brewing. But I met, of course, I got friends with the Borrowed Time, all the local people, and of course Nerdy. And then I met Chris Walker last year, Kevin Feige. So it's just kind of like a soap opera, like Days of Our Lives or General Hospital, but Modesto's American Pharaohs Graffiti. The musicians, the guitar players first. I want to focus on that, and then the artists, the illustrators, the fellow storyteller like Chad. First, I thought Chad was just a writer, and then he illustrated, and I go, wow. And so he has illustration gift too. So we got, of all the first guys I met, they were already illustrators. Micah, Sarah, and Chad. Dan Valley, I've seen his illustrations. They're okay, but this is the thing I've been trying to tell Central Valley Film Project, that the filmmaking, mandatory. The art department is mandatory. So music videos, if you want a really quality music video filmed by a director, photographer, he needs the storyboard, an illustrator. The DP and the lighting, they need a storyboard to follow. That's how it's communicated. So everybody is this thing called meeting of the mind. What are we gonna shoot? Okay, scene one, it's storyboarded how it's gonna be shot. Everybody has a meeting of the mind that how it's gonna be filmed. So you gotta draw it out first, and that's what I'm telling. Currently now, Nerdy, I'm trying to. Hopefully he'll do it right. I said read up on storyboarding, learn how to read.
your lyrics are your lyrics. So I need your lyrics if you want me to do it, or if you can do it. And that's what I said. Even if you have to do stick figures, but we'll need a good hand like Michael Van Zandt, because when you want to put merchandise in your videos, merchandise in your wardrobe, you know, your costume, you need the art department. If, how do you think George Lucas is a lightsaber, right? You illustrate you need a graphic artist or a good concept artist to draw a nice lightsaber or whatever merchandisable product you want to put in your video, in your moving picture. That is called embedded merchandising, and Star Wars did that. George Lucas does that. That's what he does. Every filmmaker does that. They make merchandise within their stories. Whew. That's why when you do a music video, and I tell these local guitar players, I'll help you with the music videos so you can showcase your merchandise. Horizon Point has done it, but they weren't wearing their merchandise. They were wearing Santa Claus and Christmas merchandise. But if they were being their Horizon Point shirts on that video, all that time spent, they didn't think about it because they did not storyboard it. Storyboard and merchandise. Think like George Lucas or Walt Disney. But in Hollywood, if you go to film school, like I'm telling Central Valley Film CV, you gotta illustrate it first and do the concept first. But yeah, the words first, your lyrics first, or the screenplay first. You gotta table read the screenplay or sing that song if it makes sense. Your poetry lyric. And if it makes sense and if it becomes, your song, now you illustrate it and then you merchandise the hell out of it so that you can be profitable in that clip, in that film, or in that short film. Or all right, who's gonna listen to me? Micah didn't listen to me since 2016, and then they have this little drama between him and whatever. But they're always gonna be my friends forever, no matter how much they're gonna unfriend me or whatever. They're gonna be my friends because that's how I am. I practice 1 John 4 verse 20 and 21, and of course the first two commandments: love thy neighbor as yourself, and of course the Holy Yahweh, Great Spirit. Same thing, 1 John 4 verse 20. Love the person you see first, then love the Holy Spirit. Because you should love who you see first, not just the invisible God, unless He miraculously appears in front of you. But the breeze, they call me the breeze, that's my indigenous name. Hoyohoy. Anyways, Yahweh, God, Yahusha, Jesus, right now they can only hologram, invisible breeze. You can't see and touch them, but I can see and touch Dan Valiran at open mics. I can see him, and of course I just poke, not really touch him because he might be sensitive to those stuff. But if you get around Jason Momoa, he's a hugger. He'll hug you. Jason Momoa, anyways. Zan McLaren, Dark Winds, leading man. If I would have stayed a little longer, maybe I had a chance to play, or even Reservation Dogs. But I don't know. They don't invite me, none of those guys. Because I'm stuck here in Modesto. So I have to make something out of who the people I meet here with the same passion. People have the same passion singing, karaoke. People have the same passion as guitar playing, And I just added the open tuning to make it different from other musicians in Nashville, Tennessee, or LA, You know, everybody's, if you do a different, something different with the group, open tuning group, it's outside of Nashville, it's outlaw country. It's country music, and that's what I'm pursuing. At least the first, one of the few indigenous Filipino Mexicans in the country genre. But I asked these local, gifted people, learn to listen. That's it. If you listen, people just don't know how to listen here. I listen. Before I wasn't listening because I used to hang out with the freestyle people when started my record label, my independent label. I was hanging around with Stevie B's, Stevie B, the freestyle dance beat. Uh, had arguments with Classified Records and Velocity Records and Stevie B's team, but they were all, a circle of songwriters, poets. My brother wrote a couple of them, and he wrote the song that Stevie B wanted, but he didn't want to give it to Stevie B, my brother. So my brother is a very good poet, but it runs in our blood. Original poetry. My poetry is not grammarly, because most songs are not about the grammar. It's about the feeling. You write your words with feeling, not Nazi style grammar. Oh, you did, because like some accents or whatever, some twang or pigeon. It's not grammar English. It's American English. It's slang, and that's how original poetry music is. And that's why I think Chad didn't like to think me because I post, you know, incorrect grammar, sentences capitalized, you know. Sometimes you scream, sometimes you know, caps and, anyways. But when you do a book, when you write a book, yes, grammar is important for every sentence, every paragraph when you write a book. But when you write poetry, you can write a poetry backwards, you can like, Japanese writing or the ancient Hebrew, you write from right to left, right? Ancient Hebrew and Japanese writing is from right to left, right? So you can write it that way. And when Chad says, "Hey, that's not correct. That's not English. That's not American," dude, stop doing grammar on poetry or posts on YouTube or Facebook. Don't grammar. Don't be a Nazi. But when I read your book or you read my book, that's when you become a grammar Nazi. When you read someone's thesis, someone's, English major work, yes, grammar applies. But on social media, every language is spoken, every punctuation, left or right, all these icons, all these gifs, whatever. That's not English. It's social media communication. But I don't know. I just talk about my past in Modesto because I haven't done much. I was supposed to help Kid Guitar get his music video done, but my elderly mom became a priority just from last year. You know, it was like June, July, or early 2022. When I finished that one music video when our friend Mick died in Midways or Runaround Sue's. It was 2021, September 2021. He passed. It was like a couple of years now. And I met the original Pharaohs at his funeral celebration at running around Sue, met his wife, Mick, the bartender at. So there's just so much paranormal going on since because COVID of October 1st, 2017, Stephen Jones, COVID, now Kid Guitar, and that's I met him in 2014. I met Dan in 2017. 3 years, Dan. You better. I know you've been posting about your health, but I believe in God. I'm a believer in miracles, and I believe there's bad spirits. Like if you watch Exorcist and the Pope's Exorcist with Father Amor, those are true story. The spirit world, there's good and evil, and if you practice the evil stuff, they'll harbor your self and family and whatever, and a lot of bad luck happens. You get your shit gets into fire and accidents, and I don't know. I saw the Alsops had an accident and firehouse. So it depends on your beliefs, and I believe in the great Holy Spirit. I believe in miracles, and I believe that 33 years ago in Lahaina, I was crying on the banyan tree, and I had to die. I had to. My soulmate left me, so I had to commit what you call not a harikiri, but indigenous Paiute removal of the soul spirit. How do you remove your old soul spirit, right? That's how a grown man can be reborn. And that's described in New Testament, John chapter 3. How can Nicodemus asked Jesus, how can a grown man be reborn? And Jesus answered it, and I knew that the only way was to regrow your heart, regrow your soul spirit, and let go of your old. And a lot of you out there that I met, a lot of single women, single moms. I see a lot of bartenders. They're either single moms or they're working job to job. When the Ralston go closed, what happened to the bars? What happened to the employees? They're scattered everywhere. They have to go find, get like anything else. That industry, the bartending industry, is not stable. So my job is to architect something here in Modesto like a Hollywood operating system, but more locals to prevent them from going to LA first before they've made films or they've made music videos. Because if you go there, pursue your acting or music scene and have not done a music video with your song, they won't get to know you. And if you've not submitted to BMI ASCAP, it's not library and they can't find you in the song view, they're not gonna know if you're packaged right professionally. Even if like my song sucks, I still packaged it. Didn't matter. Who knows? There's radio stations out there that might play sucky songs like first ever Filipino Mexican indigenous man in a country genre. Chinese looking Mexican named Indian. This is the United States. We all have to fulfill all our bucket list. And me, if I could find a guitar playing team and be a player like Mr. Willie T. Taylor, the man is wearing a beard with a coveralls. It looks like Yosemite Sam to me. But all I can say is he's doing his thing. So there's a lot of Modesto, they've been performing around town, and they're going to like sometimes to Texas, or so there are tons of local guitar players in Modesto. Now, how to put them in the ecosystem in this new Central Valley Film Project, and how to work with the 501c groups like the State Theater, the Prospect Theater, how to, assemble that and make it a assembly line of content that's made in Modesto that is sellable, profitable. So I've been doing this while, like I said, all I can do is be taking care of my elderly mom, and I can go out a little bit quickly to say hello to the open mics or karaoke. But my work is I go watch a film. That's my work. I observe and critique it, and then write a summation, give my feedback to my friends in LA, you know, and then we help write our own script and plan our production when I get back. But while I'm here, I was hoping that Michael Van Zant learns how to read a screenplay and write it. Sarah learns how to read a screenplay and write it. Dan Valiant learns to read a screenplay and take his songs and adapt it to screenplay. You know, same thing with Chad knows how to write screenplay, but I've not seen him show me a full finished or sample in PDF. Hey Stan, here's my screenplay. Can you read it? You know, can we table read it with the guys? That Chad hasn't done that yet, but we need a finished screenplay or a prototype screenplay. So the only sort of remedy that I did at the time was use the skeleton comic book, and then everybody improvise on a scene about the comic book or other subjects relating to guitar or about the story of the Cane Woman. That was my remedy. Well, it's still my remedy. If actors don't know how to memorize a line or their scripts, they can improvise on a conversation about the Cane Woman. Because boom, boom. If we do a feature, boom, boom, boom. Or if we do an episode, we want to make sure we finish that 1 hour episode every week. We can shoot an episode every week. But it didn't happen on season one, my thing. So I got to reapply for season 2 or season 1B. So that's the current. But the past is still valuable because we want to reenact when I first entered here 2014 and started meeting guys like Kid Guitar, now rest in peace. He's in the spirit world. Probably in line. If he doesn't know how to pray the Holy Rosary and the Lord's Prayer, he might be in limbo for a while until the light comes, like the Ghost Whisperer or the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. And there are shows now, Ghost. It's on ABC or CBS, I believe. But that's where I'm at. I'm a little heartbroken. Well, not really thing. Flashback of memory of Lahaina and Maui, and sad what's happening there. And I'm upset because indigenous people have always been trampled on, and we're still being trampled on. We're still being trampled on in Canada and Mexico, because the corporate elites, mostly owned by businessmen from Europe, they perpetrate on slave labor, or they prey on low pay, or just worker bees. But creative minds like myself and Modesto guitar players and stuff, American Voices, freedom of speech. Oh shoot, that reminds me. I opened the circle without saying the Constitution US. So I better do it now. And we've been an hour. So let me perform the preamble plus the Star Spangled and into a Star Spangled preamble. I call it National Anthem 2.0 because it is we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Yeah, we need more brave people in We the People today, because a lot of Americans, citizens, are being fooled, bullied, bamboozled. I mean, when Lahaina tragedy struck and the U.S. government, federal, and even state cannot restore these people's houses, cannot, I mean, it's been a month. They have not totally served, but it was an intent to most people. It looks like an intended harm of we the people, and we the rest of the country nationwide. We the people must speak up. That is our right, and that's been taken away. Imagine copyright, Larry, if our constitutional rights are being trampled on. We have to speak up, get involved in voting, speak up with our songs, our literature, educate them about the past battles in the 60s, civil rights and labor rights, the past battles in the 70s, and then the corruption began in late 80s Wall Street to now it's corporate America. Businesses, the business shouldn't be equated to any citizen, but the businesses need labor and they abuse the labor by not properly compensating them, giving wages, and so you got strikes. Writers Guild, a union of writers, and Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, which I'm a member of. That reminds me, I just got my, magazine, my SAG-AFTRA magazines. We get these every by month, annually, and then we have these notices that we can, we get our pin numbers and we can vote for certain topics. Right now, we're dealing with interactive gaming, because the gaming industry, aside from movies and television projects, your song could be expanded into a short film or a short story that can be expanded into a video game. You heard me, Dan Valiran? Dano? We can expand Great Friends into a music video, but we could also make it into a video game. All the characters could be the people that were in your original Great Friends video. And then they get residuals or, SAG-AFTRA compensation. We won't use AI to scan their face, like Jake, the bass player, and not pay him at all. Your video game would because now you own that, because you've submitted that to the Library of Congress. You are the owner, the copyright owner of Great Friends. Even though it's an old song that you've done decades ago, you still are the intellectual property. But how to repackage it and reuse it, relicense it in other, that's the secret of Microsoft's MS-DOS. Bill Gates became rich. He didn't sell the MS-DOS, pretend it's a song. MS-DOS is a song, right? He just licensed it to IBM. He never sold it. And when the term was done, 3 5 years, he remade compatibles. And he had other people, basically replicate it and compete with these compatibles against IBM. So with your song, it can be a video game. I told you I worked on the Sega Genesis design and make games, but I never took it serious because at the time I was focused on the high tech research academia for core switches and transmission fabric, laser and stuff. But gaming today, interactive gaming, it's worth more, billions more than the movie industry. So I don't know. People are not listening to me when we don't have team. If it's just me, I can't do it. Two or more, we can do it because God is there, or Yahusha, the Spirit, the angels. They're there when two of us, two humans, two men or two women, men and women, two or more get together. It's a brain power. But if it's only one person get bullied by this corporate America, or even just a small business with an accountant and a lawyer, so there's three of them always. A small business, a sole proprietary business, needs an accountant and a lawyer. That's it. So you as a guitar player, solo artist, if you don't have a lawyer and they said, hey, you plagiarized that song, Great Friends, that's not yours, you better have a lawyer to say, fuck you, screw you, I wrote this song. I made this song 10 years ago. So, but yeah, once that song, Great Friends, start making money, somebody will try to sue your ass. Nobody's suing my ass yet because none of my songs have made $1 million like Taylor Swift, Bruno Mars. But like anything, you never know. When you have a finished Library of Congress copyright, it's an intellectual property, and you can shapeshift. I'm a shapeshifter. You can shapeshift your intellectual property into something else. And it's called the derivative of your intellectual property. But you have to have a permission from the original, which was you, so you don't need a permission. But if I take your original and I derive it, I have to have your permission. Otherwise, it's plagiarizing. It's basic intellectual property. So I said I worked for Silicon Valley, I worked for corporate America, I worked in the research department, the R&D department. I worked in the factory, research and development, and then management. I didn't like management, so I left. But I wanted to just, understand being an Imagineer versus an engineer. An Imagineer, like my cousin showed me how to storyboard and concept art and how it's done in filmmaking. He trained me day and night. We went to bars and strip joints, and he showed me how he takes, like, say, in the script, spaceship, say like that. His friend he went to school with in Detroit, Doug Chang. If you look at ILM and Lucas's ranch crew, the art department is run by Doug Chang, and my cousin knew him, and so he got to work with him. And they're from Detroit. They design cars and stuff, concept cars. But he showed me that you need to know how to read a script. You know, I didn't listen at the time, but I, what is he telling me? What is he saying? He said, you need to understand what a slug line is. Every scene, you need to. And then when a certain device, an invention is in the script, they illustrate or concept draw that spaceship. So he brings me to a bookstore. He looks at all the books on spaceships. He looks at all the books on airplanes. He looks at all the books and he looks at all their designs, and then he makes a concept version from based on what he, and what's on the line, what's on the scene. And I see this, he did it all by hand. I go, man, this is amazing. And he's very talented. That's why he works with the big league producers. And Micah has that gift, except Micah doesn't listen. He does great art. Yeah, he's a very talented guy. When I first saw Micah, he was wearing, he was cosplaying David Bowie. He's not afraid to wear, you know, fedora or any kind of hat, and makes him looks different. And that's what my cousin said to me. A guy that's experienced in the imagery and illusion industry. He said, "You got to be different from others. You can't be the same as others." And that's when I saw Micah. He's different from the rest of the other guys in Modesto. But yeah, sometimes what slows you down is you don't listen. That's a problem. But I hope you listen this year, because I don't know. I got maybe a couple more months here in Modesto. I don't know. I negotiating with my siblings my freedom, but I made the promise that I'll always be where my mom is at. My mom is here in Modesto. But it's never too late to continue with what I did with season one. We gotta do, like I said, all the guitar players, they have to have the same focus. The way I'm gonna do, like I said, is just have that comic book and have them people understand the story, and then we're gonna just improvise and write our own dialogue. We make our own dialogue on the fly, but following the skeleton screenplay or the slug line or the scene. So season two is gonna be more about guitar, and then I'm gonna train some people again. Like I showed how to do the stunts, 5 strikes and 5 blocks, basic stunt work. It'll look, what do you call it? But Central Valley Film Project, if you did not submit for casting there, I don't know. I'm trying to collaborate with the casting director or people that cast it. If you're not in their database, then you're okay in mine. But when I look for people, I'm going to start using that database to make it of value. But like I said, everything is pro bono, or no, not pro bono, but deferred pay, because we're trying to finish a product, a package product, and we still have to sell that. When you finish a season or what you call a TV show or even a feature, it still needs, like this product is done, but it needs to be sold and distributed to stores. That one example here is Angela and Paul Ragsdale, A&P Production. They've done it all. But it's a slow process, but they get it done. I've seen them with Murder Size, from their initial process all the way to today, having a bunch of DVDs that they physically wrap or physically, take them out of the box. And, I go, man, I used to do that 20, 30 years ago. when I sold my own, CDs and vinyls. So it's the same process, but it takes longer because it's a feature. But writing a song today and putting it on as an album to Bandcamp or whatever, the last thing with the music is mechanically licensed and have it in the song view under the BMI.com website. Your song has to be checked by the BMI and is in the song view database. And then, of course, the Grammys once you release the album. So I found a process to just do one song at a time because releasing a full album with my first one, I made some money on it online, but it's not as much. The real money is the physical CD at a concert that you're doing at a show. You physically sell your product, your merchandise. The actual DVD is your merchandise, not just shirts, hats. That's where you make money. Is at your shows. You're actually doing the selling. The online stuff, it's good recognition. You know, nationwide they'll know who you are, but that's the problem with streaming. You're not making any money. People, the movies being streamed, the producers only get their share. You know, so that's they keep it all. The distributor, the business people, they keep it all because it's not enough to pay the cast and crew, the writers and the what do you call it. And so you got these conflicts now of this business model. And then when AI comes, oh my, it's already here, but it's not. It's that's the reason why we're on strike. Is how will people, performers get paid, or because they can revive John Wayne. AI can revive John Wayne, and this has been shown so many times already. And the unions finally put their foot down with a bunch of people now, and they said, no, 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 that's got to stop. All right, so I've been in here an hour enough. So I showed you my SAG-AFTRA Imagineer, but I still get my engineering. I'm an engineer. I still get updated with the new technologies and engineers. I'm still an engineer. Engineer, we just solve problems. We solve problems for that technology for that specific. Yeah, I'm voting again also for the IEEE.org organization. The internet is IETF. So, but I've been looking at that and the way they're doing social media. There's so much cybersecurity hacks. The architecture that we built back in the 90s, it's not safe. There's a lot of hackers, and I need to get back into that too. I need to fix that. But first things first is, yeah, Kid Guitar, a lot of local artists like you, Dan Villarand. You know, I'm only here for thing. I have a bigger picture to take care of, a bigger problem that I'm trying to fix. It has something to do with Lahaina and the indigenous Hawaiian natives in Hawaii. My cousins over there, cousins in the Philippines, Guam, cousins in Canada. We're just being trampled on, and we the people. And I'm always pushing for a female president. Maybe a female president can have a different point of view, and that's what we need to have. 2024, not another Trump, not another Biden. We need another female. I mean, a female, because a female women they procreate. They're assigned to take care of babies, and if not, they take care of their family. Women, moms, they're very good, and so I believe a female U.S. president 2024. So I'll be looking at Marianne Williamson and Nikki Haley. And if it's Kamala Harris and those two girls, Nikki Haley and Mary, that would be great. It would be a cat's. It would be a political cat fight. Excuse my language. But I've been here an hour and a half, so I gotta close it. But I do this every Friday. I'm having a soda now, but I'm gonna log out with the first in was the Lord's Prayer. The last out will be the Lord's Prayer. Regina, aloha. Hi there. Okay. Samantha Kelly Williamson. Any relation to Marianne Williamson? She has good things. She sounds like Mr. Sanders. And my father told me that Democrats will always help the poor. Republicans will always help the rich. And he's right. My dad always said that. You know, in the 60s and the 70s, my dad witnessed a lot of things. And he told me all these things. Like in the 70s, Silicon Valley boomed. It used to be all great, you know, like orchards, like here in Modesto, orchards and stuff. And my dad said, yeah, the only help that I got, my dad said, was the Democratic Party. That was in the 70s. In the 80s, I saw the Wall Street movie, Michael Douglas, Charlie Sheen, and his dad, Martin Sheen. It just exposed corporate America big time. And then there were layoffs in the 90s, mass layoffs, mergers. Yeah, like I said, if you look at Twitter, right, the people that worked in Twitter have been removed by the merger. Some of, they try to maintain the engineers that are there, but the R&D lab is the heart and soul, research and development of the business. If they don't have an R&D, research and development department, they'll phase out. And so my first pharaohs was Muggsy, John, Stephen Jones, Fred Hill. Muggsy's still with me, but he's really old already. And then the second group of American pharaohs is Micah, Sarah, Dan, and Chad. They're still around. I don't know if they're still serious in helping me tell my story and listen to what I'm trying to do. I told them I met Stanley, the illustrator. I met him. He told me what to do about how to, and I've seen Micah's work is excellent, and Sarah's work is also excellent, and even Chad's work is excellent. Illustrating, concept art, those are the tools to create sets, create props, create merchandises. You need to draw it out first. The illusion has to be drawn out first, and then actually building it. That's the phase. Just like a schematic. The writing, the screenplay is a schematic, or a song is a schematic, because the song is done. Now, next phase is to draw it out, illustrate it, and then it looks realistic. You put fashion. It becomes a clothing wardrobe. But you need illustrators. You need the visual people. And the thing is, I checked about an AI generated tool to do that, but the copyright, the Library of Congress will not give you the Library of Congress registration number. See, another person joined. Bear of pity. What's up? I'm about to end my show, Friday Reds. at 10 o'clock, I told my mom I'm going to make her dinner because I'm doing this weekly Friday Reds live. And I might be inviting, if he's interested, because Dan's been on. Next week, Dan, if you have time, come over to my house. We do this because this is in the garage, this little set. You can come down. We just have a talk, and then I've been to your house, so I have no, I know you trust me because I've been in your house. But if I tell you where I live, will I trust you? No, you're cool, Dan. But yeah, I like your poetry. I like your message and your story. That's what I like. And those all, if you submit it to the Library of Congress, you're the intellectual property owner. But with AI, if you submit that, they're going to reject it. The Library of Congress is going to reject the artificial intelligence generated art or story unless something changes. But that's what we're fighting for, the intellectual, because it's in the Constitution about inventors, intellectual property creators. We're protected by the Constitution, we the people. But again, the government, they're not respecting the Constitution. They're not respecting for we the people, and it's evident at Lahaina. Today, it's just in front of our face. We the people have to speak up and help out the victims of the Lahaina fire, even if it's all these wildfires in California, Lahaina. How are we being helped by the federal government that we submit to the IRS our taxes? We pay taxes, even the state taxes. I believe California, the state, is doing well. We're being serviced right. I know. Attorney General Rob Hunt is doing his job. I know Josh Harder is doing his job. I know, local politicians are doing this job in Stanislaus County. I don't know about the other counties, but all I can say is my local reps, they are listening to us at locally, but we have to speak up some more and ask our politicians why that's happening in Lahaina. Why is it happening at Paradise, California? Why are why not rebuild their houses? Help them rebuild it at the government's cost. Because the government can't afford it. But we print the money. It's not about that, it's about leadership. All right. We the people, let me just say that again. We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we won was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. ConstitutionUS.com. The mission statement of that bylaws is the preamble, we the people. That is the mission statement of every section of that Constitution, that written document. And there are 27 amendments that we the people, the human rights people, are asked to be given the rights. And we have 27, we need 28 to protect us from robots, AI. We the people. That is the mission statement of this federal government, even if it was started by Freemasons with reason. Right now, what happened in Lahaina is spiritual. It is spiritual and conspiracy because it just doesn't make sense, but the climate change is real. We're seeing it. There's some shift in the spirit world, bad elements. That's all I can say. All right? I'm a believer. Some people just don't. But 33 years ago, my heart was broken. I was emotionally, I was like, can't get up. My parents, I had to come back to California. My parents, we're seeing it. There's some shift in the spirit world, bad elements. That's all I can say. All right? I'm a believer. Some people just don't. But 33 years ago, my heart was broken. I was emotionally, I was like, can't get up. My parents, I had to come back to California. My parents revive me, regrow me. And that's how I maintain my relationship with the Holy Spirit, God. And tongues of fire, tongues of like fire, is in the book of Acts when 50 days after the crucifixion, these tongues of fire kind of like went into all the men inside the room that have different speech languages and were able to communicate with each other. Tongues of fire, that's what they call it. My second album, and I released I've released the previous three songs, the first three songs a long time ago, but I put it aside. The song was Please Remember Love, Mestiza Girl, and You're My One and Only. Those three were they're in my second album, but they weren't really fully marketed. I even misspelled tongues. I spelled it with a Tounges. It should be Tongues. So I was just learning the distribution, digital distribution. I still didn't trust, and I still don't trust the digital distribution at the time because nobody's making money. At least the artists weren't making money, but the labels were. So I never, but it was distributed and online, digitally. I stopped packaging CDs. I haven't done it, when I did the first three songs of the second album. The first album, that's where it's at. It's still making money, not as big, but I haven't really done any major music video on it because I had to go back to LA and learn the whole filmmaking business. Now I know how to do that and ready to, reshoot. My first album is really supposedly a TV series, 18 tracks, but each one is different episodes. But that's a property that's there, and I could always do that in LA. But the recent one, the fourth song that I put out on and submitted to BMI is Lucky Woman. Lucky Woman was written by my younger brother, and I felt when I first heard the song, it was country to me. But some other group, our friends from the Bay Area, they made it hip hop, R&B hip hop. But I'm sticking first with this first time release, 2023, Lucky Woman on BMI, and you can see it on Songview. So it's not made in Tennessee, not made in Nashville, Tennessee, but my bucket list is to someday perform there, and I needed to get it done soon. I need to perform soon. But while I'm here, Kid Guitar, he did the same thing, went to LA, pursued the meet, and come back here, wind up singing on all the streets, and people see him for years and years until he finally died, and people just recognize him when he's dead. People will recognize you when you're dead, but when you're alive, they don't help you out. That's funny. And the celebrities that died, they make money. It's just like when Michael Jackson died, album soared. Whitney Houston, album soared. I think you're better off dead, just like those classic musicians, Bach, Beethoven. They all died poor, but the guys that are still living rich and are almost being killed, it's Kanye West. He says, shit, they're trying to kill me. They're misdiagnosed me, and now they're trying to, that's what they're doing to these living legends. Anyways, but I enjoy Modesto, Stanislaus County, Stanley Jack Kowalski, Stan the man, email Stan the plan. Email Stanley, David Stanley's is the half brother, step brother of Elvis Presley. Email Stanley, that's who I am in character. And of course, I write Spanish song, and I wrote one a long time ago, and that artist is Emiliano Selena. You can find that on SoundCloud. That song is still need to be worked on, but I copyright well. I uploaded it, and it's my first Spanish song. I copyrighted the lyrics first, the Library of Congress, but for a very long time in shaping the music. But I wasn't thinking yet if I was gonna do R&B, hip hop, or rock, or just country all the way. So this year I just said country all the way. I'm gonna just focus on bluegrass country, guitar, slack key, open tuning. But I love the Fatal V, Aware band, Aware. They're all right. They're going through the right path of rock. Cause I hung out at the Rainbow. I used to go there, watch these cover bands and original bands. And Sunset Strip, they're over there now. Seth, you know, that's if you're a VMI Rocks graduate or whatever, that's the place to go. If you're into the rock country scene. But if you're rock and roll scene, you need to go there. But me, I'm Nashville, Tennessee bound. Outlaw country like Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson. He went back to Texas and they finally recognized his country music. He spent time in Nashville, Tennessee, Willie Nelson, but no label would pick him up. And then when he went to back to Texas, he finally got recognition. I mean, he wrote "Crazy," sung by what's her name? But all I can say is make it happen. I'm the chief over there. I'm email Stanley over here, and I'm Ophir Camaro over here. So the reason why is in my early account opening, the Ophir Camaro account was 5,000 right away. The chief, the Stanley, was also 5,000. The bad part is, yeah, Facebook limits 5,000. Why can't they just whatever per account? So you have to build another account. So you manage multiple accounts and multiple social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook. I have X, Twitter. I have Snapchat, but I have TikTok, but so many to maintain. I need a team specifically to take care of all my social media stuff. Oh, maybe when the money starts flowing in. But yeah, my first album, that was 96. I put it up in 2007 for distribution, 2000 something, when it was available to do distribution online. But I was hesitant because Napster and all this legal suits, it was just like no money for the artist. You make more money, like I said, bringing the physical, tangible merchandise with you at your performances, live performance, even at open mics. Bring them with you, and that's the problem with the movie industry. It should still be on DVDs or Blu-ray, but Netflix and Disney, they want to capture the world, not just the U.S. market. All right. Okay, I gotta do the first in. The first in was the Lord's Prayer. It's Book of Matthew, chapter 6. It was when Yosha Jesus taught his disciples how to talk to God, how to pray to God. So we're gonna exit the virtual Garden of Eden. So when you're a ghost, when you die, afterlife, because the lyrics of Lucky Woman is, "Oh, it's taking time, so long I've waited for that someone to carry away. If you are the lucky woman, Forward your love to brighten up my day. If what they say is true, if dreams really do come true, then whoever it is that's meant for me, the lucky woman, she will be. She will be the only one who will bring me back to life and brighten up the sun. Who with that smile on her face, as beauty as this place, will you be my lucky woman? Yeah, afterlife. The word afterlife is in that song. So when your body is dead, your soul spirit comes out. And if you don't know how to pray the Lord's Prayer, or you've not given that light to go to the gate, entrance gate towards the stairway to heaven, that entrance gate is the Garden of Eden's gate, the east gate. It's in the book of Genesis, and it explains the gate. And in one book, the Ethiopian book, it says that the spirit of Abel, the brother of Cain, who Cain killed, is very much the responsible spirit to flag if Cain's spirit is in you, because you killed Cain. Abel, if you have the spirit of Cain, you are not allowed to enter the Garden of Eden to the stairway to heaven. But the Lord's Prayer is a login that you've showed you've repented, you've forgiven, and you've learned to love and have a relationship with Yahushua, Jesus, and God the Father. That's by knowing the Lord's Prayer. So here we go. Our Father, Yahweh, who art in heaven, holy, holy, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Deliver us from every evil, Lord. Amen. Praise the Lord, and thank you for watching Friday Reds every Friday. And hopefully next week we can have a guest. But we'll see what happens, because sometimes we don't do a Friday Reds. Sometimes we just go out there on a Friday night at Rancho Resco or 1870 Brewing. All right. Oh shit, we got 7 more minutes. What else can I close? I'm done. Um, I wish my friends can read a screenplay, can read a script, and Chad can write one, and then we can just work it on Chad's created product. But then you need to make sure it's copyrighted. I think Dan, you said you wrote a book. If it's already then submitted to the Library of Congress and you have a registered number, I can help adapt it into a screenplay. We can have Chad, and then we can work with that and help you with your story. I can help. We have our little crew that we can make our own film. Because Central Valley Film Project is not for profit, but it's a skeleton infrastructure by Jacob and his team and the local filmmakers here in Modesto. Why work on a project if it's not for profit? Well, it's to team build and to put together the team and to make a solid team. So the next get go, it's easier to put together and finish a product. And that's the reason you reuse the same team, cast and crew, if at all possible. If you watch Eli Kazan or Marlon Brando's movies, you always see Carl Malden in those different movies. Eli Kazan, in Brando's movie, you'll see the same. Adam Sandler does that. He reuses people that he trusts. It's all about trust. You have friends that you trust. You've gone to their house. You've met their family. You met, and that's how I felt. I met Sarah, her family. I met Creston. I met their dad. I met the sister and the husband and their children. So pretty much know Sarah's family. That Micah, I've known Micah because of Twisted Pig. I've seen his mom there, and I'm just learning about things. Now he has his son, Killian, full time. I know how it is to be a single dad or single parent. Dan, I've been, your birthday party, that one July 5th, I have some clips of that. But I trust these guys. Chad, I've known him for a while. We went together at New Year's at Jazz DePirio's house, the mom's house. I got to know Chad's side. Friends with his sister online. I haven't really interacted with her much, but I think Chad, you guys are cool people. And then the other people like Jeff Moore and Joseph Moore, I've gotten to know them on open mics, and then I go to all the bars and places that I go and meet a lot of people. And they're people good in Modesto once you get to know them. It's just we should even treat strangers a welcome, because that's how a good person is. You gotta help the poor, the lame, the elderly. That's a good Democrat. No, that's a good blue. When you help people, but if you don't, then it's a sign you're basically wearing a sheep's clothing. A wolf. You're a wolf on a sheep's clothing. So, hey, Christian, what's up? I'm talking about you, man. Talking about your family. Just kidding. But I've gone out there, and I think, I know I've been wanting to shoot a scene over there at the Wanty Ranch in Waterford. And I had that Amazing Grace song back in 2017. I wanted to shoot it, film it there, but it didn't happen because Stephen Jones died and something was going on with Sarah and Micah. And now today it's the same situation, but Should all be cool, peace, and love, and help me tell my story. But definitely, Dan, I'm there for you, man. You just let me know if you want to adapt your book or you want to share that, or have Chad adapt it to a screenplay, or you learn yourself how to write a screenplay. And I gave everybody like tools like Celtex, and if you don't have your own Final Draft software, you can get the free Celtex online. But delete the every time you finish a first project, delete it and can restart again as if it's a first project. Then I have that Hollywood writer Dramatica, but I feel more comfortable with free software like Kiltex. But once you learn how to do the format, I mean the slug line and scene description, once you know how to do that, and then you know what a circular script is or what a linear script is, you know, you can type it up like the way the old school days when they didn't have these software tools. You just do a typewriter and you can write a screenplay or a teleplay or a playwright on a typewriter if you know the formatting. Because screenwriting, teleplay, and playwright, it's formatted in a certain way. All right. I just want to succeed as a front man, a foreground, not a background. But the background is to keep you alive. In LA, you want to do background work or any project, student film or whatever. You want to help people, even if it's just background work or part of the crew. You want to do that because you want it's called, the filmmaking family. You build trust, you build the family, get to know you. So every time, and you do that over and over, you get to know each other. It makes the next project faster because set building is not easy and filming is not easy, but it's easy when everybody's having fun and they're all have the same meeting of the mind. That's why storyboard is important and the concept art. It's the illusion is pre-displayed because filmmaking is about, it's an illusion industry. You're telling a story with an illusion with set of tools, but you need the talent, you need the crew, the art department that can first visualize it so all the crew and the cast they can see the illusion right then and there by the art department. So it's really part of the writing, which is phase 2 of the writing. Phase 1 of writing a song or a screenplay is the artwork, the art department, because you design the packaging, take pictures of, and the character with the cowboy hat, that's the character. Because I'm there, and I always put my hair up. And you never see me publicly with thing unless I go out open mic and be my character, Stanley. But yeah, Kristen, you're kind of late, man. Is that Kristen or is it Irene and Kristen? Aloha. Anyways, you can rewind this. I'm gonna upload it later and YouTube. I gotta take care of my mom. I'm done tonight for today. Friday Reds. So thank you very much for being with me. Please support your local artists and go visit the State Theater for their playlist of independent films. Maiden Modesto. Thank you. Yeah, so I gotta go. All right, then. Aloha. See you later, bro.